What up, dudes? It's Gaz, and welcome back to another Warframe video. So today we got another episode of This Week in Warframe. We go over the entire weekly reset and what to expect as a Warframe player this week. We've currently got 3 guaranteed Tau Shard alerts that are very easy to complete, like level 20 missions, and xaku Prime came out on Thursday, so you can also get your xaku Prime. We just had a dev stream announced for the end of the month on the 29th, so you've also got that to look forward to in 2 weeks, but that's not this week, so let's get right into it. If you enjoy these types of videos, we're recording it live on stream right now, so come on stop the live stream if you have not already, and you can maybe farm the missions with us later. Alright, start with Teshin's first item. You got a 50,000 Kuva drop for 55 Steel Essence, which is technically a discount compared if you were to buy these individually for Kuva, or for Steel Essence for the Kuva, so pretty decent drop. You can save up some Steel Essence for the upcoming Infested Lich weapons. There's also going to be a new Infested Lich Ghoul Saw, apparently. But it's a different type of... It's not exactly the Ghoul Saw, it's the same Ghoul Saw weapon type. But yeah, either way, guys, that also got the Quassus and Trumna Ribbons, which are not the highest stats, but technically usable too. And I'll be covering the Riven Dispo Pass tomorrow, where a bunch of the Rivens actually got buffed, and some of them are actually looking pretty good on the current patch. So we'll be covering that tomorrow as well. Additionally, Tuesday, should have a Quassus video on the channel. Quassus... The Lich is telling me my loot. Thank you, Lich. The Quassus Prime video on Tuesday with a couple different builds, a red crit build, a non-red crit build, meant for high-level missions. So yeah, looking forward to that. Now, as far as the Dorma Zone wares, let's see what we have, because last week it was super glitched, and we had like the store like multiplied by like 3 or whatever. Looks like over here at the Dorma Zone we have not the best stuff. We've got the Melee Riven mod for 15 Pathos, a Pistol Riven mod for 15 Pathos, and 5k Kuva, a Forma Blueprint, and Exilus Weapon Adapter. Not exactly the best stuff. So nothing really to write home about here. Unless maybe you want a Riven mod for something. Moving on to the Elite Deep Archimedean and the Archon Hunt. Those are going to be providing you with not guaranteed Tau Shards, but shards in general, which you can fuse up to guaranteed Tau Shards at some point. Another thing to keep in mind too, I haven't covered this in the channel, I'll cover it soon. The dev strip of the 29th that they announced is going to have a guaranteed Tau Shard as another drop. And guess what? That Tau Shard will be a combined Tau Shard. So yes, a green Tau Shard, a purple Tau Shard, or an orange Tau Shard, RNG dependent. If you watch the dev stream on the 29th. So they really want you to watch that one. And it will also be the last dev stream of the year. So you probably should watch it because it will have 1999 info. But either way, I'll cover on the channel afterwards. Watch it. Alright, so we've got the Elite Deep Archimedean today, and there is no boss fight, so you can rest easy, that one guy that hates the boss fight so much. As far as your mission types, though, we've got Disruption, Alchemy, and Exterminate. So a pretty straightforward one this week. No mere defense and no boss fight. The mission modifiers for Disruption will be, first one, Engorged Gruzlings. All Gruzlings are Eximus. Here's the tip for you. If the Gruzling is that tanky, just ignore it. It only drops 1 extra key anyway. The Gruzling Eximus is hardly worth killing in these missions as it is just like stupidly tanky. You can kill it, but it's not really worth it. So I'd recommend just ignoring the Gruzling Eximus and viewing that as a free modifier. Second modifier, Fortified Foes. Guardian Eximus units may be encountered, including Guardian Eximus mechs. Another pretty much free modifier. Very, very easy. First one. And for the third modifier, this is only active if you have the Elite Deep Archimedean active, not the normal Archimedean. Bolster Belligerent. All enemies have Overguard equal to 50% of their maximum health. So everything's at Overguard, so maybe a little bit annoying for like CC builds when I was playing Banshee here, for example. But yeah, pretty much a free first mission Disruption. Some of the easiest modifiers available. Second mission, Alchemy. First modifier, Hazardous Goods. Amphors will inflict their associated elemental damage while being carried. So hopefully you got someone on your team that can give you some tankiness, or you're like got Dante Spectre or something like that. Because yeah, if you're carrying a Toxin Grenade, you're gonna get poison procced. If you're holding an electric grenade, you get electric procced, so on and so forth. Second modifier, Vampiric Liminus. Slow-moving immortal Dveri Liminus drain health energy from allies who get too close. One of the most annoying modifiers, but thankfully it's an alchemy, not in the boss fight, so you won't be locked in the room with these things. So just kind of keep them away from you. Use some CC abilities, they should be slowed down to a great extent. And for the final modifier of the alchemy, Alluring Arcanids. As rogue Arcanids charge their attacks, they will pull at Warframes near them. So another free one. The only thing that's annoying here is pretty much the Vampiric Liminus, honestly. So another free mission right there. And the final mission, the Exterminate. Super straightforward. Exterminate is like so much easier than the boss fight. But as far as your modifiers here, Necromech Influx, more mechs will appear during the mission. Okay, you can pretty much just ignore them because the Exterminate. Commanding Culverins. The Culverin enemies will do 5 times damage to Overguard and mechs. Okay, so be careful if you're playing Dante. And Bold Venture. Enemies deal less damage and take increased damage, but also have increased movement speed, attack speed, and fight rate. This is a very easy EDA today, so that is great for people that want some easy shards. So you got guaranteed shards for the alerts, like level 20 enemies, and you have a very easy EDA this week. The biggest requirement here is just to have this stuff unlocked, which requires rank 5 the Cavia Syndicate. For your personal modifiers, you've got Lethargic Shields, which means the shield regeneration delay is massively decreased, or increased basically, so that you have no shield regen, so get quick shield restore things like Harrow's Chains, for example. Energy Exhaustion, lose 2 health per second for each enemy within 10 meters of you. Okay, so that could be kind of annoying in Alchemy, actually. And then Knife Step Syndrome, lose 2 health while moving. Jumping will pause the effect. Pretty straightforward there. It's hardly any health drain at all. And the final modifier, Transference Distortion. No operator or drifter allowed. Okay, so pretty easy stuff this week if you ask me. Hopefully you have some decent gear. Like I've got the Cycron, the Tetra, whatever melee. And I'll probably bring Wukong. Actually, we'll see which one I pick, because these all three are 3 pretty decent choices, actually. Wukong, Baruch, and Banshee. But yeah, moving on to Bird 3, another thing that requires rank 5, the Cavia Syndicate. He's got extra shard every week, and this week he's got a blue shard. You can get with 30,000 standing. If you don't want to farm rep, just do your Netra cells and your EDA, and you'll have enough rep to buy this. Pretty nice. All right, moving on to the Archon Hunt and the weekly Incarnons. You've got a great Incarnon week ahead of you. As long as you haven't already gotten the main good ones already. There's only a couple really good ones this week, but some of them are not that great for sure. Like the Soma Incarnon, probably one of the worst Incarnons in the game. But starting off the Archon Hunt here, you've got the Owl Archon on Earth, and the boss fight, or rather the mission types are Spy, so Earth Spy mission with the the Narmer hacking, so pretty easy stuff there. Archon Interception, that should be on the very annoying Earth tile, yeah, Cervantes on Earth. And the final boss, the Owl Archon. Probably one of the easiest Archons, I'd say. The Snake Archon can toxin proc you through your shields. This guy just kind of sits around and just does stuff. The most annoying part about this fight is the minions he summons. The arrowless need to have their canisters broken, which can be a little bit annoying with some weapons. But yeah, pretty much straightforward there. Moving on to the Dveri stuff. Let's see what we got. Alright, for the normal path, we've got Necros, Valkyr, and Oberon. Even though Oberon is not the best, I'd probably recommend you pick him here because he is the most annoying to farm. Necros comes from the Lefantis boss fight on Deimos, which is a great place to farm the Equilibrium mod, and it's just really easy in general, so he's not that hard to farm. And his helmet ability is Terrify, which is an AoE armor strip and slow. Actually, no, the slow is from the augment. An armor strip and a fear, like they run away from you, so pretty good stuff there, but does not work on Acolytes. For Valkyr, you can farm her from the Alan V boss fight on Jupiter. Really, well, probably the fastest boss fight in the game, honestly. And her helmet ability is Warcry, which provides a attack speed buff to melees. For Oberon, I believe he comes from Railjack now. He used to come from just any generic Exodus, but yeah, they made him a lot more annoying to farm. His helmet ability is Smite, which can provide percentage health damage orbs, or with the augment can give a radiation damage buff to weapons. But yeah, pick him because he's the most annoying to farm, even though he is probably the worst of those 3 frames right there. And hopefully he gets a rework soon, because that would be great. Also, keep in mind, Oberon probably unvaulted relatively soon. Alright, so your Steel Path Incarnons here. Here's what you got. But if you haven't played in a while, reminder you could pick Kuva or Rivens instead of Incarnons if you prefer that, if you already have these Incarnons, basically. But yeah, we'll do a full review what's the best ones, what you could use these things for. Alright, first weapon, Akenbrut Incarnon. Second weapon, Soma Incarnon. The Prime is probably the one you should put it on. Vasto Incarnon. The Nami Solo Incarnon, and the Bursted Incarnon. So for the best ones, for sure, it's going to be these 2 on the right, but we're going to talk about each Incarnon in depth to see which one you might like the most. Okay, for the Akenbrut Incarnon, it's a sword and shield, and when you're in Incarnon form, after getting 6x combo multiplier, you can launch these spectral axes by doing aerial attacks or sly attacks. You can spam them pretty well, but yeah, they ain't no Exodia Contagion. These are definitely lower. They're not meant to be as hard hitting per hit compared to Exodia Contagion, but they're still pretty nice. You can fire them off pretty quickly, but the issue is that it's a sword and shield Incarnon that feels pretty slow. And as far as some of these Incarnon perks on here, Absolute Valor gives a big crit chance increase. Rogue Readiness gives on-kill chance to reload your secondaries or primaries, but again, this is pretty niche stuff here. I would not recommend this Incaron as maybe even like this might be the last recommendation, maybe compared to the Soma. These are both like, actually, it's probably better than the Soma. The Soma's last place, this is like second to last place this week. But yeah, still pretty cool stuff, has some pretty interesting Incarnon perks. Soma Incarnon. Oh boy, it's pretty sad to talk about the Soma Incarnon, but we're going to do it today. So the Soma Incarnon is going to be, so it starts out as a general, like just generic full auto rifle. And when you go to Incarnon form after some headshots, get a load of this. You'll get multi-shot and status chance, but they nerf your crit chance. You get less crit chance in the Incarnon form compared to the normal form. So, yeah, that's one of the reasons why people are kind of annoyed by this thing. It could have been really, really good. We wanted it to be really good, but then DE decided to make it have less crit chance in the primary shot, so that's super sad. But, you know, to compensate, you get more multi-shot and status, and it's mostly slash weight, so that's kind of okay. But as far as the top Incarnon perks on this thing, this might sound kind of weird to you, but Fresh Havoc is technically the best one math-wise. Increasing base damage by 6 on reload from empty, so you have to expend the entire magazine, basically. Stack up 2 times. This is mathematically the best one, which is sad because you'd think the crit damage one would be better. But yeah, it nerfs the crit chance, so getting crit damage doesn't help you as much on the Incarnon form. So yeah, really sad stuff there, but if you do like this thing, it's got some okay stuff. Fortifying Bloodshed on slash proc kill, it will give you 100 overshields. That's kind of cool. Not exactly the best, but it's still kind of cool. This is the last recommendation for sure this week. Is one of the worst Incarons in the entire game. That being said, every Incaron in the game is technically good. Just maybe not this one. Moving on to the Vasto Incarnon here, it is extremely powerful for single target damage. The way this works is once you get some headshots, you will basically get the Fan the Hammer alt fire of the Pandero, but you can use it 4 times, up to 4 times per Incarnon magazine, and this can blast away the maximum level enemy really, really easily. So, that being said, it is very, very single target, and if you're fighting enemies jumping around, like a Thrax, like a level 10,000 Thrax, I don't like this weapon in Cascade. I like this weapon in Disruption, because Disruption is a lot easier than Cascade as far as the enemies jumping around. The Devilist can be Magus lockdown and stunned, and the Thrax has Overguard when it spawns, and it will just immediately be jumping around. So unless you like spawn kill a Thrax with this thing, I would recommend it in Disruption over Cascade. But yeah, Death Trap Trigger is really, really strong. Where's Death Trap Trigger on here? Death Trap Trigger, after swapping this weapon, you get increased crits, chance, and crit damage. So very, very strong stuff there. And there's another crit chance perk, too, on the Commodore's Fortress. So you have crit chance here and crit chance on the final tier. So it's a really, really big buff. For the middle tier buffs, who really cares compared to these other ones are so much stronger. But yeah, it's probably like, I'd say this is like 3rd place after these other 2 over here. But yeah, 3rd place, Vasto Incarnon, very, very strong pistol. Now, Navi Solo Incarnon, going to be probably the number 2 recommendation this week. And the thing about this one is that it is not a very fun or exciting Incarnon, it's just a strong Incarnon. So, if you're looking for, you know, crazy bells and whistles, like, oh, it's launching a fireball every attack, then maybe go for the Ack and Brunt instead. But for this, it's just raw, powerful stats. That's why this Incarnon is so strong. And the reason it's so strong is because of the Incarnon perk right here. Greatly increases range in Incarnon form. Once you hit a 6x combo multiplier and go into it and do a heavy attack, you get 3 extra meters of range. That's a lot. That's like basically an extra primed reach on your build. And don't forget, you could put primed reach on here too. So you put a range riven, primed reach, and the Incarnon form, it's like 13 meters of range. You throw a melee influence, and it's got a bunch of electric procs. It's just really, really deadly. So, yeah, good stuff here. Lots of good perks to get your stats up too. I would recommend a melee influence build on this, and you can hit really far away. And a reminder too, melee influence is going to proc per enemy you hit, so it's going to extend that range even further. It's like 30 meters-ish when you put all this stuff together. So really powerful stuff there. If you want a good melee weapon, try it out. And for your final Incarnon this week, you get the Bursted Incarnon. One of the best primaries in the whole stinking game. So as far as what you should go for on the Bursted and what this thing does, after a couple headshots, you will get to activate the Incarnon form, which becomes full auto and deals AoE fire damage. It's a very small AoE, but the main thing here is this thing has so much Incarnon ammo. It's like 600 shots or something like that. It's got more Incarnon ammo than all these other guns put together. That's how much Incarnon ammo this thing gets. So yeah, really strong. And you can basically main the Incarnon form, which is a great feature of it. So as far as the perks here, they got really good perks. So Forceful Finality, increased multi-shot, increased damage. Middle perks here, better recoil, better reload speed, but the best one here is going to be Commodore's Fortune. Actually, not Commodore's Fortune. Absolute Valor, increasing your base critical chance by 22. You can get red crits on this thing very easily, and I'd recommend checking my Octavia video, my Zombie Octavia video for my build for this level 10,000. After all that talking, what's the best ones this week? Number 1, Burstin. Number 2, Nami Solo is, in my opinion, the best ones this week. But if you want a melee more than a gun, then go number 1, Nami Solo, number 2, Burstin. If you already have both of these really good ones, number 3, Vasto, I guess number 4, Akin Brunt, and last place of the Soma. Why do they have to nerf my crit chance? So hopefully that was helpful to you guys. Let's move on to the Nightwave stuff, and we'll talk about some other things you can expect this week in Warframe. Okay, so for your Nightwave here, we've got the typical challenges with our permanent weeklies, which is just kill enemies, complete missions, and kill Eximus. But for the rotating weekly stuff here, we've got the first one, Don't Fear the Reaper. Complete 3 Kuva Siphon missions. Here's a little fun tip for you. You can just run to the end. You don't have to actually kill the Kuva Siphon. Just, if you see a capture Kuva Siphon, load in, do the mission as normal, extract. You've gotten 1/3 of this challenge already done. If you want to do the entire Siphon, it's not really a ton of Kuva per Siphon, but you still technically can do it. Next one, Venus Bounty Hunter. Complete 3 different bounties on the Orb Valis. Profit Taker bounties do count for this if you want to run a Profit Taker bounty for a quick completion. Okay, there we go. Elite Weekly, complete an Archon Hunt. If you have the Archon Hunt unlocked, there you go. Easy Nightwave rep for you. Just beat the Archon Hunt. Look at all that explanation. Oh my gosh. Just basically beat the Veilbreaker quest to get to that, is how I'd explain it to you. And then have fun. Then the last one, defeat the Ropa Lolis. Haven't fought that thing for a while. The Ropa Lolis is the second boss fight on Jupiter that's not Alad V, and it can be a little bit glitchy sometimes, but yeah, that's where you get Wisp from, that's where you get the Amalgam mods from. Pretty straightforward right there. We got your cred offerings here. We got our Evergreen stuff at the top. Ooh, we got a Cycron Solstice skin, that's pretty nice. If you use a Tenant Cycron, maybe. And we got Archoplasmor Solstice skin too, that's pretty cool. So yeah, if you like any of these helmets, go ahead and grab them. But looks like pretty generic stuff. Ooh, got a Southern-Off helmet, that's great. Okay, so for Nightwave augments here, we've got Combat Reload for the Tigress. Reminder, there is no Tigress Incaron in the way, unfortunately. Precision Strike for the Tonkor, which gives you increased reload speed on direct hit. But just use the normal reload speed mod. And Range Advantage for the Akjagara, which gives you increased damage if no enemies are nearby you. It's 300% damage. So yeah, these are all not really worth using, in my opinion. Some people like Precision. It's technically more reload speed and Precision Strike. But yeah, I just recommend the normal reload speed mod in everyday missions. But you got some good aura mods this week for sure. You got Loot Detector, Corrosive Projection, and that's basically it. So these 2 aura mods are really good. If you don't have these already, I'd recommend getting them for either Nightwave creds or buying them for plat. But the rest of the stuff is kind of like underwhelming for sure. Oh no, Holster Amp's pretty good. I think like Holster Amp is good, Corrosive Projection is good, and Loot Detector are all really good. For your Mastery Fodder weapons here, you've got the Glaive Normal and the Pangolin Sword Normal. Also the Dark Dagger Normal as well. And for Conclave Augment mods, you got Recharge Bearer for Volt, Brainstorm with the Grakata, and Deceptive Bond for Loki. Wouldn't really recommend those ones overall. That's basically it for your weekly reset, guys. We have those new Tau Shard. Those Tau Shard alerts will be going until the 29th, by the way. So until the dev stream, pretty much. I'll have a video covering the dev stream a little bit more soon. But yeah, make sure you keep an eye out on the channel for a bunch of news updates about Warframe and the like. We'll have also a double XP weekend at the end of the month too, so stack up a bunch of built items in your foundry, and if you can play on November 29th, you can actually have really, really fast leveling, and that would be great. Okay, so for these Invigorations, these are random per player per week, and if you want to get access to this stuff, you can get them from the Deimos Necrolisk Syndicate. Just talk to Sun once you're, I think it's like rank 3 or something, and if you want to get it quicker, you just buy it in the market for 300 plat, search Helminth in the market. See what we got though. For Mag, we got increased secondary critical chance and built-in heal rate. Not exactly the most useful stat for Mag. I guess secondary crit chance could be nice, but yeah. Healing rate, she's a shield frame anyway, so who really cares about heal rate? Still, maybe for comp this one, it could be okay. Hydroid. Ooh, this one's actually pretty good for Hydroid. 1,000 extra armor for Hydroid. That's pretty good. He's actually kind of an armor frame a little bit. And increased secondary damage. So, not the best, but also not the worst. And for the final one, we got Loki here. Melee critical chance and immunity to status effects. Well, not exactly the best because Loki's Safeguard Switch Augment can actually give you status immunity. But, hey, melee crit chance ain't too bad, so not the best Invigorations. You're looking for stuff that can give, like, power strength or range or whatever. But either way, guys, hope you found the video fun and helpful. I'll see you next time. And come on, stop that stream if you haven't already for some Tau Shard farming. Take it easy, guys. Peace.